realistically, I actually think near miss crashes are actually scarier than actual crashes. And I have a reason for it, because I have one particular one that I remember. There's like, let's say there's like a split, right? Like there's like a left turn and like a straight turn, right? You know how there's like a corner that's there when that happens, right? Like, you know, like one like bends to the left and the other one goes straight. But like, you know what I'm talking about though? And there's like that really sharp corner, you know what I mean? Like in the middle that divides them, like the barrier or whatever. And you're kind of like, when you drive by, you're like, oh man, that would probably suck to hit, right? Basically, like whenever you go by, it's one of those areas like, oh man, like that would suck to drive into. It's basically a giant point in the road, right? I was in the car with, when I was like younger, it was like me, two of my friends, and this girl, and she was driving, and like, I don't know if she just like zoned out at the wheel. She like didn't turn. Like she just like drove like almost right into it. And I like was like I was already a little bit suspicious of her driving. I actually reached over and grabbed the wheel at the very last second and just pulled it to the right. And we missed it by like millimeters. Like we like hit the sidewalk that was there and like went over it and shit. And I was like, hello? Like, is anybody home? And she's like, oh my God, like I didn't even realize, like, I'm so sorry. I was like, dude, like what? We almost just like went like head first straight into the corner. So I feel like I think of those memories way more and think of those near misses more than like an actual accident.
I feel like the actual accident would have been worse though.
Well, I mean,
you guys dodged the bullet.
Well, my actual accident, I was just being I was just like kind of being an idiot, so it wasn't like that bad. Nothing really ended up happening. Like, I didn't really get hurt. Like, I was pretty much fine. The only thing I did was I failed the concussion check at first, which was bad. Oh man, that was funny. It was so bad though. But like, I don't really like remember that.
Scary.
You know, I'm like, you know, I mean, I remember it, but it's like, you know, it happens. It's a mistake. And then I think back of those moments, and I'm like, oh. Every time I get near the corner like that, I'm like, fuck, dude.
Like I've been in near misses before, but I don't really remember them. But I do remember like the times that, like, you know, my brother, like, let's say when he got his first car, like he was in a crash. Like I remember that.
I remember other people's crashes a lot, but like my one and only crash, like I don't think of it like that much. I definitely think way more of the near misses. Have you ever been in one or no?
No.
Oh, lucky.
Don't like to go outside.
Yeah, it's scary out there.
Right. Also, Miami, you know, everyone's like a fucking asshole driver.
I live in Boston. You ain't telling me nothing.
A well-trained shot. Marked by the dragon.
Oh boy. Oh, I got yoinked. Did I tell you about the dude the time I got hit by a drunk driver? Like, it was very, very slow, but like the police did nothing.
Now.
So when I was still working for Boston, I was one night really, really late. I was going to go get an oil change, and I'm on like this like road that's like kind of like, it's not like a highway, it's like Route 1, right? Like you have Route 1. Route 1 connects all the way to Florida. Do you have Route 1 all the way down there?
US 1.
Yeah. So it's the Boston end of that. And basically, I passed this guy who's going about 15 on Route 1. And I'm like, that's odd. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is like a 55, this dude's, or 45, 55, this dude's going 15. So I'm like, all right, whatever, blow by him, no big deal. And I get to this light, and it's got a nickname. It starts with a B, and it ends with a J, because it's so long, and it takes so long to get through it, because you have, like, it only lasts for, like, 4 seconds, and it only changes to the left direction once every, like, 4 minutes, so the traffic there gets, like, terrible, even when there's, like, no traffic. I'm sitting there, and it has already been a rotation of the light. I'm still sitting there, and nobody's behind me yet. And I see some headlights coming up behind me, and it's real fucking slow. And I was like, is that the guy I went by like 4 minutes ago? Like, is that him? And it's like a pair of truck headlights, and it's slowly getting closer. And I'm like, holy shit, it definitely is. And it keeps getting closer, closer and closer. And I'm like, okay, now it's getting really close, and he still hasn't stopped yet. And then he rear ends me. And I jump out, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, this dude had all year to stop and did not stop. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And he's like backing away. And I'm like, what? Where are you going? Like, what do you mean? And he's like, huh? So like I take my phone out and I start like walking towards him. I'm like, yo, like, where are you going? You just rear-ended me. And he's like, oh, jump out. And I was like, oh fuck, dude. I'm either can't understand him, he's fucked up, or like, you know, I just like I'm having a hard time hearing him. And I'm like, what'd you say? Like, I can't really hear you that well. So I keep walking towards him, and he's like, it's not bad. And I was like, what do you mean it's not bad? Like, I turned and looked at my back of my car is like all like scratched. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you can literally see it. So I leaned over really quick and took a photo of his license plate. And I was like, hey, like, are you okay, dude? Like, are you good? And he's like, yeah, fine, yeah, I'm fine, yeah. And I was like, yeah, like, the light's about to turn, so the light turns, right? And I'm like the second or third car, and I'm like, can we just pull off so like we're out of the way of people? And he's like, oh, fine, I'll pull off, yeah. So I'm in front of him, right? So I take the turn and pull off in front of him. This dude blows the rest of the light and goes straight through it. And like cuts people off and just goes. And I couldn't turn around because like I've already started the left turn. I'd have to like full 180 and then like 90-degree turn. And he just like drives off. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I call the police and report it as a hit and run and tell them like, hey, you know, like I actually got to talk to the guy.
Nah, that's crazy.
He sounded like he was like very intoxicated. And they were like, where was it? And I told them where it was and stuff like that. And they're like, okay, well, there's nothing we can do about that. So go report it. Go fill out a report for it, like for getting hit by a car or something. So like an accident report. So I drive to the police station. I'm like, all right, like they told me to come here and fill out like a police report, like, but this guy like was severely fucked up. And they were like, oh, do you have his license plate? And I gave it to them. They're like, yeah, but I mean, like, we don't really have any other proof because we didn't get to see anything. So just fill out the accident report, and you know, we'll see what you can do. It's just for insurance. And I was like, okay. So they just never did anything about it. And I actually, though, luckily I ended up having my insurance actually like was able to find him through his name and his license plate and shit. So they were able to pay for it, no problem.
The insurance company that did more than
oh yeah, the insurance company was the only ones who did anything about it. But like he was very clearly intoxicated. Like this dude was fucking drunk off his ass, and they just didn't give a fuck. He was not that far from home. Like I remember seeing like later on, because like there's like papers you get, and it's like, oh, is this the person you think it was? And I was like, yeah, it was like the guy fit the description. Like it was like an older man, you know, stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much the person I saw. It was fucked, but yeah, the cops didn't want to do anything.
That was a long story.
I don't know. It's just like one of those ones that
there was so many straights and turns and stops and returns. I was getting so lost.
Well, yeah,
I almost needed you to navigate me through it, bro. Yeah. I can give you the address. I'll put it in Waze.
Well, if I could, dude, because then if I didn't say it that way, it's like, well, why didn't you just follow the guy? I was already turned the other way. I was gone. Like, I'm in the middle of an intersection going the opposite direction, you know?
Yeah, that's actually, that's why I'm scared. But it's also really like, you know, if you do get a good car or like an expensive car or whatever, you have to get one of those like cameras that, you know, a lot of people do.
I have a dash cam, but I haven't put it in yet because I have to get it wired.
I see a lot of those stories about like, you know, it's not gonna happen here, or maybe it'll happen like once in a blue moon, but like those people who jump into your car or ride their bike into your car and then claim
it happens
that you
in Boston
hit them
all the time.
Yeah, like I feel like it's so nice to have those cameras on your car.
Oh yeah, it 100% is. My dad used to tell me about people like when he was younger that we used to like hide behind parked cars and like wait for someone like that's driving kind of fast to come by, and then they would just like jump out in front.
Yeah,
and be,
like
insurance.
those shitty ass fucking people, man.
Yeah, it's bad. Boston's also really confusing and has like tons of one-ways and shit, and people drive like absolutely psychotic, so people like can get away with it really easy because they believe that people drive that way. Wait, did I tell you earlier this year when I almost got hit by a plow truck?
Do you feel yet?
You almost got hit by a flat truck?
Plow truck. Like a snow plow.
Oh, no.
So it was 2 days after my dad passed. I was at this intersection that's like not that like too far from me. So like one of the things my dad taught me was like, he was like, people are stupid, never trust a green light, right? And so I was at this like one light,
yeah,
and
you
it's
can,
like,
I don't trust other drivers, man. They're scary.
yeah, not at all. But it's like a 4-way intersection, but the others, it's like 3 4-way intersections together. So like there's the main one, and then there's like one on each side, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of like lights that are there, but people get confused because they see green light on one side, but it's realistically for like another, you know? And so the light turns green, and something just told me not to go yet. So I waited a sec, and I looked to my left, and there was a plow truck just like coming through, and I was like, he's not stopping. So I looked to my right, and the guy next to me started going, so I just honked at him like, please no, and he just did not hear it. But yeah, the plow truck.
At someone, that's the
best thing I could do. But yeah, the plow truck like slammed into the front of his car. But like,
oh shit, that's scary.
I still hope that he slowed down because I was honking at him. Because if he was going full speed, he probably would have crushed his door, and then like that dude would have died.
My dad actually, 2 years ago, he was going through his green light, but then someone ran their red light and hit my dad.
God damn. Yeah, it's
lost his fucking truck and everything.
Yeah, that was. I remember hearing about that. I'm telling you.
It is scary, man. I don't trust other people.
I don't either.
I threw a mine at the end of a tunnel, and then he was trying to 1v1 me, and I hit him with one mine, and then he tried to run the direction of where my mine was to try to like leave and escape, and then I just blew it up and he died.
Oh, dude, the Junkrat's actually so good in this. Oh my, actually nuts.
Killing brings me no pleasure. I leave a trail of red. Marked by the dragon.
Oh, almost at 4C9.
Chris. Got any other shouldn't go outside stories?
In Florida? All the time, man. Let's see.
Isn't Florida like kind of nice though? Like, I mean, not like.
Yeah. I like it.
60 seconds. We have the disadvantage. Group up with me.
Yeah.
You can't hide.
Stop the pain. Group up. Well struck. It's over there. 10 seconds. Stop the grip. Quite long.
Scanning.
I just got kicked.
So there's canals where I live.
Yeah.
And they used to be crystal clear, but obviously they're not anymore. But I remember me and my friend went kayaking. There was 3 people, but it was a kayak for 2 people. We went kayaking there, and there was a boat that went past us on there. And my friend leaned to one side of the little kayak, and then he flipped the kayak. The water's disgusting.
Yep.
As soon as we got out, we rushed to get out. As soon as we got out, though, we see this 8-foot shadowy figure in the water just go right past where we fell over. That was creepy.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, that shit was that was not a good day. But then there's another time where I came home after visiting Bree, and we saw this. I told chat this story a few times, but there was this huge ass gator that my dad saw, and we were like, oh shit, they got our canal. He was on the surface and he was just chilling. So my dad, me and my dad, we don't see that often, and that was actually our first or second time. So we're like, what do we do? Anyways, we just called the police. They sent someone to see, like, check it out.
Is that normal? Like, you call the cops on alligators?
I don't know. We didn't know what to do. It was our. I don't know what to do. So we just called the cops. The cop came up. He was like, oh yeah, we can't do anything about that until it actually does something. Because I guess it was like they said it was like protected wildlife or some shit. So like until and the direct quote that he used is like, until it goes into someone's backyard and eats like someone's small dog, we can't do anything. I'm like, what the fuck? Why? You can literally prevent that happening.
That's actually I understand like you don't have to word it like that. Like, I'm not saying you, I'm saying them. Like dude, like fuck dude, I understand like you can't remove it, but at the same time though, like there's like, we have things here, like we have like bobcats, and like bears are very 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 fucking rare, but like bobcats are a pretty big one, and they do shit about the bobcats. Like, bobcats are
I think
like
bears
super
are a little
dangerous.
bit more,
Yeah, but bears are a lot more north.
Dangerous.
They're like, you know what I mean? Like, bears don't come down to Massachusetts. That's more of like a New Hampshire, Vermont type of deal. Or like Western Mass, maybe. It's too urbanized for bears.